Hi guys. Earlier in the week, I did a little kidnapping prevention seminar for a Girl Scout troop, and after I did it, this week I've been thinking, that's probably good information for my own students to have. So I thought I'd put together a few videos for you guys to review, and I'll probably put up an outline of what I talk about on the page here. Um, but it is, I think it's a good time to start talking about this because summer's coming. The kids are going to be out a lot more. They're going to be out of school. They're going to be outside playing. So why don't we get right into it? First of all, abductions by strangers are very rare. Usually, kidnappings and abductions happen. They're done by people that you already know. But they do happen. They do happen with strangers. So I think it's good to be prepared just in case. So we're going to treat this, we're going to use the same principles as I use when I train a fighter. Okay? When we train fighters here for a fight, we normally like to research the opponent and maybe watch film on them, see if we can find anything about them to identify their strengths and weaknesses. And we want to obviously avoid their strengths and exploit their weaknesses. Well, the best way to get the upper hand on a kidnapper or abductor is to learn how they operate, and we can probably be successful in avoiding the abduction altogether. So how do they operate? All right. Mainly, they operate by using different types of lures. They're going to lure children to them in some way. They like to play on the goodwill and the innocence of children to lure them in, gain their trust, and finally abduct them. So there's several different types of lures that we can be aware of. And the one that's most common, I think that most people are familiar with, is the one in which the predator might approach a child and saying they need help. Okay, so the most common that we think of is a predator approaches a child and says, "Could you help me find my puppy? I lost my puppy." And he may have that puppy, tied to a pole or something around the corner, making it easy for the child to find. And when they do find the puppy, he lets the child play with the puppy, and he builds the trust that way. And finally, it leads to the abduction. Other ways they can ask for help. A lot of predators have actually pretended to be handicapped and asked a child to help them maybe carry some things to put in the trunk of their car. A predator might even be in the car already, pull up to a child. They might want to ask for directions when the child approaches the car. They reach out and they pull them into the car. Another thing they can do from a car is ask for help. Give the child, hand the child like they're handing a child some mail, and ask them to mail a letter, and then grab them and pull them in. So these are our typical I need help type lures that predators like to use. And I want you guys to explain to your children one thing, okay? One thing that just to use common sense, okay? If an adult needs help with anything, they're going to ask another adult, not a child. Okay, so if an adult is asking them for any type of help, the antenna should go up. Okay, another lure that predators like to use is one called the authority lure, and in this type of lure, they approach a child in some type of official uniform. Okay, most children are always taught to respect authority. So if a man walks up to a child in a policeman's uniform, they already have the child's respect. Now, a predator may put on one of these uniforms. They're very easy to get, and they sell them in stores that outfit policemen and different types of occupations. So they may approach a child and say, we have some stolen property came from your house, and we need you to come down to the station to identify it, something like that. Other types of authority lures we've heard of. Children in a department store that kind of get separated from their parents, and then somebody walks up to them saying that they're a store detective and they saw them steal something, and you have to come with me. The child goes because he respects the authority, and he's very scared of getting in some type of trouble. I've even heard situations where somebody would walk up to a child wearing like a doctor's coat and say, you know, your mom or dad has been in a terrible accident. They're in a hospital. You need to come with me now. And they make like there's a big emergency. So that the authority law is another law to be aware of. We have what we call the threat law, where a predator might plant something like drugs or a wallet, making it very easy for the child to find it. And when the child does find it, he comes up and says, "You have those drugs. You're going to get in trouble unless you do what I say." Or in regards, if they plant a wallet, they might approach a child and say, "You know, you're in trouble for stealing that wallet, and unless you do what I say, I'm going to get you in trouble." They also may even threaten to hurt them or a family member. So we got to be aware of this threat law. If you did nothing wrong, there's nothing to be afraid of. We also have a name we call the name recognition law. Okay, sometimes predators will watch children, when they're planning their abductions or whatever. And children, it's not very difficult to find out a child's name. A lot of them will walk around in a jacket that they got on a sports team that has a name on their sleeve. Also, sometimes kids write their names on things. They write their name on a backpack or something, so they can use the child's name to build trust, to gain the child's trust. And sometimes they may even combine something like this with the authority law. A predator walks up to a child in a policeman's uniform saying, "Are you Joey Smith or whatever?" And then he says, "Well, we have some items down at the police station that were stolen from your house, and we want you to identify them." So it's just another way to build the child's trust and to play on that. Another law is called the ego law. Okay, and this works. This is usually used on young ladies. Not maybe preteen young ladies. Let's say they're in the mall. And a predator walks up to them with maybe a camera, a 35 millimeter camera or something, and says, "I'm a photographer, or I am a talent agent, and we're looking for models, and I think you guys are the perfect fit for what we're looking for." And that really plays on a young lady's ego, because that's when they're at that age where those things really start to matter, their looks and things like that. So the ego law is one to watch out for. Finally, we have the reward law. In this case, a predator might walk up to a child and offer him a reward for something that he's lost if he'd help him find it. He makes it very easy for the child to find, and then he says, he might say something like, "Okay, well, I'm going to give you $50, so come with me and we'll go to the ATM so I can take the money out of the bank." So the reward law is another one that might play on a child's his willingness to help, and the fact that they're going to get a reward. So those are the type of things to look for. Not to look for, just to be aware of. If you could explain to your children these things. I'll also put an outline of the different types of lures up on the page, so you can actually download it and print it out if you need to. And maybe we'll talk about getting a little seminar going down at the school here. But I do have a couple more videos that will come after this. I do have a couple more things I want to talk about. Maybe some things how you can avoid being abducted, places to stay away from, tips that you can use to avoid an abduction, and also maybe if your child does get grabbed by some predator, ways that they can escape. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back soon with the second video of the series. Thank you very much.